I'm Bill Bradley, host of American Voices. This week we have a special presentation for you. This is a story that moves me, and I'd like to share it with you. Imagine if you lost your home in a fire. Where would you go? Where would you sleep? How would you take care of your kids? When there was a wildfire in Paradise, California, 50,000 people lost their homes. 50,000 people.
We came outside, we saw the smoke up there. I gathered my children and I took off. 10 more minutes, we would have burned.
My son started crying, but we were able to cover him with a blanket. The smoke was so bad, that you couldn't even breathe.
The kids were asking me, where are we gonna sleep? And I don't have an answer.
Woody Faircloth decided to help. He gets and donates RVs to many of the families. He calls them on the phone, tells them that they'll have a place to sleep, a place to live.
We have somewhere you can park it too for free, as long as you need to.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my God, it is such a blessing from above.
That's coming up today. I'm Bill Bradley. You're listening to a special presentation of American Voices on Sirius XM Radio.
American Voices with Senator Bill Bradley is made possible by Barrick Gold, America's largest gold producer and a force for good in the communities where we live and work.
Carolina Restrepo, a single mother, is sitting in her car and watching her house burn down in a wildfire. It's nighttime and all you can see are huge bright orange flames. The car windows are too hot to touch, and eventually she and her 3 kids will have to abandon their car on the road.
I hope you pray a lot for us. We are trying to evacuate the town. Pray a lot for us, please.
Later, she'll learn that the restaurant where she works also burned down. Carolina Restrepo is one of 50,000 people who lost their homes in the 2018 wildfire in Paradise, California.
This is too much for me to hold. The kids were asking me, where are we gonna sleep? And I don't have an answer.
When we got to Paradise, it was kind of just flames everywhere, dark, smoke. We had to go home to get all of our dogs, and our dogs were all locked up. They had no way to escape, and those are our kids, so the cops tried to hold me and my boyfriend back. They weren't going to let us go, but we just pushed back and took off running, and we finally got there, got them all out.
We came outside, we saw the smoke up there. I gathered my children and I took off. 10 minutes later, people had already said their houses were burnt.
After losing their homes, some families slept in tents for months while others went to shelters. That is, until they got a phone call from Woody Faircloth. He offers them a safe, private place for their families to live, a free RV of their own.
You need to take care of them.
Woody Faircloth is on the phone with a mother. She's one of the tens of thousands of people who lost their homes in the 2018 wildfire in Paradise, California.
Well, would an RV help you guys?
Absolutely.
Well, I've got one for you.
Are you serious?
I am.
Oh my God, that's so freaking amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much.
We have somewhere you can park it too for free, as long as you need to.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my God, it is such a blessing from above.
Oh.
Woody is sitting there listening, adjusting his baseball cap and wiping away his tears.
Just know that help is coming soon in terms of a place for you guys to stay, and it'll be yours.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Woody Faircloth donates and delivers these RVs, along with his young daughter Luna. He's driving the RV right now, and Luna sits there in the passenger seat, holding her doll, looking out the window, marveling at the beauty of Arizona.
Dad, wait, let me get
Arizona.
Wait, we're in Arizona.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Dad, take a picture here. Oh, it's so beautiful.
They're on their way to give this RV to another family that lost their home in the fire.
Is your seatbelt buckled?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Woody Faircloth is here with me now. The organization he started is called RV for Campfire Family. He donates RVs to countless families who've been left homeless from the fire. Woody, what meaningful work you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, Senator Bradley.
Just think of the impact that this experience has had on your young daughter.
When I first asked her, I said, "Hey, hon, what do you think about driving out in an RV and we'll give it to a family?" And she just kind of looked at me with that toothless grin that she had at the time, and she said, "Dad, God and Santa Claus are going to be really proud of us." So,
that's pretty good, God and Santa Claus.
That's right. And I still, I asked her after last weekend because it's a long drive and it really will wear you out doing it. But I don't complain about it because, one of the guys we gave an RV to last weekend, he's been sleeping in a tent for the last 9 months. And I don't know about you. I live in Colorado and I like to go camping occasionally, but I really like coming home and taking a shower and getting out of that tent. But he was in a tent for 9 months because he wanted to be near his kids who lived with their mom, in an area that wasn't burned by the fire. This town was where the California gold rush started, so you have multi-generational families there. And so a lot of people's safety net burned. One of the families we helped, they had 8 homes in their family that were lost, the brothers, the uncle, the grandma, everyone.
Wow. So tell us, when did you first learn about the wildfires and that people were left without homes?
I live in Denver, Colorado, and we started kind of following, just my daughter and I, what was going on with the wildfires out in California last year. And then Thanksgiving was coming up, and I just was looking at my daughter, and we were talking about, these poor people in the United States of America about to, celebrate Thanksgiving in a tent, having lost their home. We just couldn't imagine doing that. And I was looking on social media, and I saw a post from a guy who said he was able to start the RV up on the side of his house and barely escape the fire, and he just needed a part to make it habitable, and he would be all set on housing. And it just occurred to me, what a no-brainer. There are RVs kind of everywhere, especially out here in the West. And I thought, surely we can find an RV and drive it out there and at least put one family in what would be their new home for Thanksgiving, so they didn't have to live in a tent or a shelter. There was norovirus kind of running through the shelters, and it just seemed awful. And I started emailing everyone who was selling an RV on Craigslist that looked like might be able to make the trip from Colorado to California. That's about a 20-hour drive. And I probably emailed 150 people that were selling RVs and just told them what we were thinking about doing and asked if they'd be willing to discount the price or donate it to us. And one guy got back to me and he said, "I'll sell you mine for $2,500. I love what you're doing." And we started a GoFundMe, and I'm in sales for a telecom company and had a big month the month before, so I had just enough money to buy it. And we bought it the day before Thanksgiving, and we hopped in it and just started driving.
And then it took off from there.
It really did. Actually, right before we took off, I had some of the moms of my daughter's classmates kind of helped us stock it with everything you would need, because, in a fire, if you lose everything, you need everything. Everything. And so they did a great job of stocking up the RV.
Here, I'll follow you in.
All right.
And I'll kick my shoes off.
Oh.
So this is an RV that was donated, and they are so sweet. They left notes. They stocked it full of
everything.
Supplies.
Every little cubby is filled with something different. Absolutely amazing what this family has done for us. It's just absolutely, it's ready to move in, which is taking such a load off of me and my family, that's for sure. I can't even, when I think about it, I just want to start crying, because it's hard to just imagine the people out there that don't even know you are doing this. And complete strangers from all over the world really are stepping up and helping us in our time of need. From going to a tent to the car to this is just such a it's just amazing to give us this chance to start over. I'm gonna.
It's okay. It gets bigger, I'll show you.
Okay.
Where's the kitchen?
Hold on.
Oh, it's moving.
It's just this button right here.
Where's the TV?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you drove all this way.
Yes,
You're so nice. God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
And then, word started spreading. And then I got contacted by somebody who said, "Hey, I've got an RV, I'll donate as well." And as we were driving, we created this RV for Campfire Family Gmail address, and we posted it on Facebook on a relief site where people were just giving information about evacuations and where they could go for shelter and food and just basic kind of survival stuff. And I said, hey, I'm just a dad from Colorado. My daughter and I are driving out in this RV. We want to help a first responder, but if anybody's interested in or needs a place to stay, please let us know because we're going to donate it to somebody and then figure out how to get home. And, my phone just melted. I had literally almost 1,000 people replied to that post. I felt a little awkward posting on there, but I'm glad I did because we heard from so many people that needed help. And, the problem then we had was how on earth do we pick somebody to give this thing to on the way out there. But thankfully on the way out there, we had a few other people contact us so they had RVs to donate as well. And so it was quite a journey out there. And the one we drove out, we gave to a father. He had 4 kids, 5-week-old baby. He was commuting. His work actually was down in Chico that wasn't affected by the fire, but he had lost his home and his car, and he had a company car, and he was commuting about an hour. And I said, "Why are you commuting an hour to your work every day?" And he said, "Well, I'm just trying to keep my family together. If I was staying closer to my job, we'd have to split up and live in different places. And Senator, my house never burned down. And I couldn't keep my family together, so I just thought he was a perfect guy to give it to."
How many RVs have you given?
My daughter and I were back out last weekend. We actually delivered 5 last weekend, so total we've delivered 74 RVs.
74 RVs. That's amazing.
I'll
try.
There you go.
Best.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message system. At the tone, please record your message.
Hi, this is James Woody Faircloth, and my daughter and I are the ones driving the RV to Chico. And I was just agonizing about the fact that we're an hour away from Chico, and I've got 4 families we want to donate RVs to. And right now we're 2 short, and I just got your email saying you could possibly donate 2 RVs. So it's amazing to me how this is kind of unfolding. And, I just kind of made the decision in talking to Luna and in my head that we're going to commit to the 4 and we'll figure it out. And your offer helps us figure it out. You just did it. So please call me back as soon as you get a chance. I'd really appreciate it. Again, it's Woody and Luna. Thank you.
I'm still crying. I can't believe what.
All right, let's go. We gotta go.
What a wonderful thing.
It's been quite an adventure.
I'll bet.
Yeah. I realized pretty early on that first trip that I wasn't driving the RV, that, God had gotten involved and his hand was kind of working through us and using us because, I had a guy contact me on the way out there and he said, "Hey, I've got 2 RVs, but I need a charitable deduction letter." And I didn't really know what that was exactly. And about that time, my phone rang and it was a guy named Larry. He was an attorney here in Denver. And he said, "Hey, you don't know me, but we both went to Wake Forest, and I see what you're doing on Facebook. If you need any legal support, I'll do it for free." And I said, "Well, I need a charitable deduction letter, so get to work." And so he filed a 501c3, and we got our nonprofit going. And then I had another friend who contacted me and said, "Hey, I've got some time. I can build a database for you of people offering to help and people who need help." And she put together this database that we still use on our website that just was a godsend, and it allowed me to keep driving and focusing on what I was doing. And then we were able to build kind of this database of people who were in need. And it was just amazing how it all came together.
A lot of people feel motivated to help, but they get distracted. They move on to something else. How did you hold on to this feeling to stay the course and to keep the focus?
When we got out there and saw what was going on, it was just unbelievable. I mean, people were desperate for help. Not only burned down 15,000 structures and homes, it also burned down all the businesses in town. So you had everybody they didn't have jobs, they didn't have income. And we stopped and we had breakfast, and 5 of the waitresses who were in there working, they had all lost their homes and were sleeping in their cars. And, we heard about veterans who served our country who were sleeping in their cars, and 500 students who went to Chico State, their families lost their homes. I mean, it was just overwhelming. And we just realized very quickly, we got to help these people.
I saw that, the smoke just coming out quickly, and completely covered the sun. Suddenly my son started crying, but then he was tired. So he fell asleep. So we were able to cover him with a blanket because the smoke was so bad, that you couldn't even breathe. Because we start seeing, light poles coming down, they were burning and, coming down in front of us, so we had to zigzag it. But, I see the nature of people, they were scared. We all were, I believe, were scared, and then people just were like frozen in their cars, and they were like, they did not know what to do. It was such a traumatic experience, and Wednesday when I went back, I literally broke in tears. The devastation that I saw there, it was, you see the damage, and it's not the same. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, but at the same time, when I went back, I realized that we were very blessed to get out. If it could be worse, I'm very grateful though, I'm telling you, it's a lot of people that lost their lives. I just want to thank everybody. I don't know you, but so hopefully someday I will know you. There is no words really to say, the gratefulness, but I know that one day in my heart, I feel like I want to pass it on. I want to be able to pass the torch, as you guys blessing us, me and my family. So thank you very much.
One of the families we helped, they had a child who had cerebral palsy who was 5 years old, and he was, being fed with a feeding tube, and they were living in the back of a minivan. And these were folks that lived in a big, beautiful home. There were two professors at Butte College who had come back for the new semester that started in January, and they wanted to be there for their students, and they had lost their home, so we provided a home for them. But there was one family that they got the evacuation notice. They were packing up their pickup truck, and they had attached a trailer to the back of it that had two dirt bikes. And the father said, "Hey, go get your grandma," to the 18-year-old kid. And the 18-year-old hops in the truck. He starts driving to his grandma's house about a mile away, and this fire was just a beast. It was coming from all directions, and a telephone pole fell in front of the truck and caught the front of the truck on fire. And the kid jumps out of the truck, hops on his dirt bike, starts it up, rips it up through the woods to grandma's house. And the trees, around her house are on fire, and there's fire coming up over the back of her house. It's on fire as well, and she was standing on the front porch on her walker, and this kid said, "Grandma, get on the bike, we gotta go." And she jumped on the bike, and they rode down through the woods. She lost her slipper, and she said, "I lost my slipper." And the kid said, "I'm not going back to get your slipper, Grandma. I'm sorry."
Her slipper fell off. She's like, "I need my slipper." I'm not going back for your slipper. Had to help her get on the back of the 450 and then hauling butt down the road. Yeah, I don't think she even realized that the trees were on fire above her.
But they made it out alive, and there's so many stories of people that got out of there just by the skin of their teeth. One of the women that we talked to there who'd suffered terrible burns on her body, she survived by letting the air out of the tire of her car so she could breathe, because that fire gets so hot it sucks all the oxygen out, and her partner perished beside her in the fires. It's unbelievable what these people went through, and they'll be suffering from this, and the memories of this for some time now with those fires.
So when you give an RV, do you tell people anything about how to adjust, and how long do they stay in the RV, and what happens after they leave? Can they stay there forever?
They can stay there forever if that's where they want to stay. I didn't know a lot about RVs when we started. In fact, I'd never been in one when we took the keys and started driving out there. We were kind of nervous about using the bathroom in it, so we just used bathrooms in the gas stations. But we've learned a lot about them since then. We have on our website, we have some tips for RV living that we provide them. But when we give them the RV, we give them the keys and we give them the title, and it's theirs. And we sign a bill of sale where we sell it to them for $1. So when they go and register it, they don't have to pay a lot of taxes on it. And when somebody donates an RV to us, we've purchased about 8 RVs just with money we've raised, but the rest have been donated by just kind-hearted people. And we kind of stumbled onto a model that really works for everyone involved. People are able to donate their used RVs. About 30% of them end up buying a brand new one for themselves, and the rest are just, they're done with their RV. And some of the donors are some of the best stories too, Senator. One of the donors who lived in Napa, California, he told me he had just had to check his wife into a memory care facility, And so all their memories in the RV were gone, and he wanted somebody else to have a chance to build some memories, and he couldn't think of a better than a family affected by these fires. So that's why he donated the RV. So
Human spirits is amazing, isn't it?
It's a beautiful thing. I'm convinced that, in situations like this, we all as human beings want to help. Often, though, we don't know how to help. And I think we found a way that a lot of people can help, whether they're donating an RV or helping us stock it up with supplies, or we've even had people kind of volunteer to help us repair them.
So has this experience given you a greater appreciation for your own home?
Senator, I don't take anything for granted. I got a flat tire on my car not too long ago, and I just was kind of smiled and was thankful I still have a car. I can fix that, right? And just having a home. There's so much I think we take for granted, and so many things that can get under our skin in our day and, get us upset. But once you see what real suffering is, nothing small is going to bother me again. I just realize every day how blessed we are. And I think, we have an obligation to help other people when we're doing okay.
So, families lost their belongings, right? Even their family pictures and so forth. So you encountered this. Have you taken any precautions with your own family heirlooms?
I have kind of a go box, if you will, that would be right after, family members and pets would be the first thing I grab that has kind of the precious things in it. But, that's one of the things that I hear over and over again. People just wish they had a picture of their mother or their father or their grandparents, and just the little things that are precious to all of us that we have in our homes, that when they're gone, they're really gone. And it's really sad to see. But I will tell you, just in terms of, the American spirit, there's some Facebook groups that have started up out there that say, hey, could you describe the thing you miss the most, that was most precious to you? And it can be anything. And, people will say what that is, and then people kind of match it up. If they have it in their home, they'll send it to them. And it's just beautiful to see people come together like that. Like dishes and pictures and toys that, they may have had that were really precious to them.
Yeah.
It's so many things. Most of them are really kind of small books, keepsakes and the like. A lot of those are irreplaceable, but, some of them, we can find a match, especially with books and things like that. We can get those replaced.
It kind of reminds you of the goodness of the American people. I mean, here's a family, just everything destroyed by fire. Goes on Facebook, says, I need a radio and some books and so forth. And people say, yeah, here, take mine. Let me give you some. That spirit is amazing, isn't it?
It really is. That's been one of the most just powerful things, the most impactful things to see throughout this process, is just how people, will get up and help a total stranger.
So Mark Weiner is the owner of this beautiful wooded RV park. And he's agreed to let Alejandro Rosado and family, they have a 1-year-old baby, live here. Mark, why'd you decide to help out Alejandro and these people that lost their homes in the fire?
Because they needed it.
How can we keep that spirit going every day?
I think it's just getting out and introducing yourself to your neighbor.
Right.
Is a good start, and maybe the neighbor that you've never really had a chance to introduce yourself. Just walk down the street and do it, and get involved in your local community, in your neighborhood association, or anything that's available where you can meet people that you live with, maybe you work with. And, I always think it's a good idea to maybe go over and meet the people that you normally don't associate with, because I think one of the things I've learned is, you can learn a lot more from people that aren't like you than you can from people that are like you.
I say hear to that. So tell me, you've given away or donated 74 RVs.
Yes, sir.
Do you stay in touch with the people?
We do. We stay in touch with them regularly. I mean, some of these families are going to be lifelong friends. There's some serious bonding that happens when you pull somebody out of a car and put them in some shelter. And it's hard not to get connected to these folks. We had one guy donate a 1956 fully refurbished Greyhound bus. I mean, this thing was worth probably $90,000. And as soon as they donated, I was trying to figure out who we were going to give it to. And we got contacted by a 10-year Cal Fire hotshot, a Native American female firefighter who had been there for about 10 years, and she had lost her home. She had gotten pneumonia, kind of sleeping in her car and on her friends' couches and stuff. And so we ended up setting her and her fiance. They had to cancel their wedding as well, but we ended up giving that one to a firefighter, which was really rewarding, because that's what we set out to do from the beginning, is to help a first responder.
You know, you said that in Paradise, California, it's a place where the gold rush began. It's a multi-generational town. There is obviously a real feel for place. And so did you talk to anyone where their feel for place was altered by this fire?
You know, that's one of the things that really struck me, and another reason that, you know, we're still helping is these people love that community. This is home, and it's just, they are connected to it, and they want to see it rebuilt, and they're going to stay there no matter what. And it's just, you know, it's powerful. There are a lot of people that want to stay, and they want to rebuild. And we've actually, you know, we helped a family relocate to Texas, and then, you know, they told us just recently that Texas is not for them. They want to come home. And so, you know, I think that town will come back. It's a strong-willed, strong-spirited group of people, and I tell you what, we're lucky to have them in this country.
Woody, I found our time together here inspirational. I think you're doing amazing work, and I can't thank you enough. And I think as fellow Americans and fellow human beings, we owe you a debt of gratitude for helping families in a real time of need.
Senator, I really appreciate that. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
To find out how you can help, visit rv4campfirefamily.org. Earlier in the show, we heard from Carolina Restrepo as she sat in her car and watched her home burn down. Well, after she received a free RV of her own, we wanted to check in with her. How's she doing? How's she feeling?
Now this happened, I have a home because God is moving hearts to help people like me and families. You know, God is good, people is good, life is good.
I wanted to call you and offer you guys an RV as well.
Oh wow, that would be so wonderful.
We have one with your name on it, and it'll, you know.
God, thank you so much.
I'm crying with you.
I'm just blown back by your kindness and by God's provision for us. I'm just in awe of both. It's just relief. You have restored my faith in humanity. I love my country and I love the people in my country. I'm so, just so hurt inside.
There are people all over the country and all over the world who have gotten behind what we're trying to do here, and they care about what you guys are going through, and you're not alone.
So good to hear. So good to hear.
And that's the last of our American Voices for today, but you can continue our conversation on Facebook, facebook.com/American Voices with Senator Bill Bradley. Senior producer Devora Klar. Assistant producer Christine Whalen. Special thanks to Chris Gibbons, Eric Gonzalez, and David Rodriguez.
American Voices with Senator Bill Bradley is made possible by Barrick Gold, America's largest gold producer and a major supporter of education, the arts, and environmental conservation in the western U.S. Visit us on Facebook or go to barrick.com.
You've been listening to American Voices. I'm your host, Bill Bradley. Thank you for listening to American Voices here on my YouTube channel. For more interviews celebrating the goodness and creativity of the American people, click the subscribe button below.